solve this linear system. All right. So we can't really just start graphing this, right? I don't really know what that looks like yet. Typically the best one to turn it into, right? In the last unit we had all our different equations of a line. The best one to turn it into is going to be that y is equal to mx plus b. So let's just get y on its own. So let's do this first one. So we've got 2x plus 3y is equal to 3. Okay, step number 1, I'm going to bring that 2x, I'm going to bring it over to the other side. Really, I'm going to subtract it from both sides, right? But we're probably getting a little bit better at this now, so here, I'll write it out though. 2x, so minus 2x and minus 2x. So we get 3y is equal to, and just so it looks like, you know, the something x plus b, I'm going to write the negative 2x part first and then plus 3. You could have written it the other way too, but it's just kind of easier to see, you know, what our slope is and what our y-intercept is there. Okay, so almost there. Very last step, I just got to get rid of that 3, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So we get y is equal to negative 2 over 3 x plus, and then 3 over 3 is just 1. Okay, so that's our first one. Now let's do the second one. Second one should be a little bit easier. So we've got x minus y is equal to 4. Alright, so it'd be fine. I could bring the x over to this side. That'd be totally fine. You'd bring the x over, but then we'd have negative y left over here, which is okay. You just have to divide everything by negative 1, right? Because that's really like negative 1y when we're done there. But you know what I think would be a little bit easier? Why don't we just do a little different? Why don't we take the negative y from this side and make it positive? Just move it over to that side. So then you'd have x is equal to, and then y plus 4. And then we'll move the 4 over to the other side, right? And it'd be minus something when it comes over, so that'd be x minus 4 is equal to y. That's the same thing, right? Doesn't matter that the y is on the right. And from here you can see now that our slope is 1, right? Like 1 over 1, and our y-intercept is negative 4. Alright, so now let's make a Cartesian plane so we can actually graph this thing. I can see that, you know, this one's going to have a y-intercept of negative 4. This one's going to have a y-intercept of 1. So I want to leave, like, you know, at least 4 on the bottom here, right? Because it's going to be, you know, down 4. So, I don't know, why don't we make our x-axis like there? Okay? And then let's make our other axis here. Alright, so I think we're good to go. So now let's do I'll do the red one first. So this one crosses at negative 4, right? Across the y-axis. So right there. And then remember, this thing is 1 over 1. So this thing goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, so it goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. But really, I think you get the idea. We could actually just draw this now. Just kind of going through nicely through all those boxes, right? You should use a straight edge. My straight edge doesn't work that well on the computer, but that's the idea there. Okay, and then, yeah, technically you'd have arrows on the end of those to show it goes forever. Okay, now the next one. So let's do the purple one here. This one crosses at 1, so I know it's going to cross there for my y-axis. And then this goes down 2 over 3. So down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. So we can sketch that one out. All right, so what is our solution to this system of linear equations? Well, it's where they cross, right? Our solution here is really going to be 3, right? So that's our x value, comma, negative 1. So there we go. That is our solution right there. Now, so that's our solution. You can graph the thing out. That'll work. The problem is, though, sometimes they might cross, like, you know, not in a nice point like this where it's 3, negative 1. Sometimes you're going to get a decimal. So what we're going to do, I want to start showing you guys how to graph these things using your graphing calculator too. So can you grab your TI 84 or TI Inspire? The problem is I don't have a TI Inspire on this computer, but if you grab both your calculators, I'll kind of walk you through how to do this. Okay, so here's our TI 84 calculator. And you know what? For the TI Inspire people out there, what I'm gonna do is actually I've made a video I put like on the website there too that shows this exact same thing just with different equations with the same process, showing you how to do it with the TI Inspire. So I'll kind of show you where that's at when I'm done this one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna pretty much like on this calculator. You guys see at the top, you've got all of your graphing stuff is pretty much those top buttons there. So we're going to push the y equals 1 just right at the bat. And it should bring up a screen that looks something like this. So now this calculator only really works when it's written in our y is equal to mx plus b form, right? Do you see how all of these are y is equal to something? And I've got y1, y2, y3, y4. So those are all just different lines I could graph. So we'll actually just put it in just like the way it's written here. So if I do the red one first, right? Do you remember that was just x minus 4? So your x is right here, like where it's red there. So it's x and then minus 4. And we'll just do that one first for a second. So that's our line. And then I want you to see if you go graph, that it'll end up making a graph of that line. Okay? And now let's go back. So then I can just go back over to my y is equal to screen. And then I'm going to put in my next line. So the next line is going to be negative 2 over 3x plus 1. So I can type that in as negative, not minus, negative. It's got to be this one when it's when it's out front. So negative 2 divided by 3x plus 1. Okay, and then if I go back to my screen, we can see that, we're getting our other line there. They're the opposite of the colors that I used, but that's fine. Okay, so what we should see here, right, if we do this right, is that we should end up with 3, negative 1 for where they cross. So where we find these things is under calc. Do you guys see like calc up the top? It's in blue. So the way we get the blue ones is by going second function and then calc. And then I'm going to get this list of options here. So what we want to find, like this thing gives you, we could find our like a value. We could find our zeros, which really are just our x-intercepts. We could find our minimum value, maximum value, and intersect there, right? We're going to be using these a ton, especially next year. But for now, the only one we really are interested in is number 5, right? So you can either go down to 5, or you can actually just push 5 and it'll select it. Okay, so I just pressed 5 and selected it there. Now what's happening is it's saying, okay, first curve. Do you see how it says that in the bottom? First curve, question mark. By curve, it means line, right? It was saying, okay, it's wondering where these things actually cross, and it's wondering what the first line actually is. So I should be able to just click it now and it'd be fine, but typically what I do is I just move the little spider guy closer to where they actually cross. And you see how it's all blue on my screen here? That's because it thinks it's on the blue line, right? It's saying, is this the first curve? And I'm going to say yes, so I'm going to push enter. Okay, and then it says second curve, and do you see how everything's in red now? So it's jumped over to the red line. Do you see how the little cursor guy is on the red line? Okay, so good. I can really push enter at any time now because it knows I'm on the second line. But again, I just kind of like to be close to where it is. And the reason why I'll be close is because sometimes when we start dealing with different kinds of curves, sometimes there's more than one answer, right? So anyway, I'll push enter. And then now it's saying guess, question mark. So it's saying, should it try to take a guess at what the answer is? And I'm going to say yes. So enter one more time. And now it told me that the answer is 3, negative 1, right? So x is 3, y is negative 1. So x is 3, y is negative 1. So that just is that point, right? They've given us the point right there. Like I said, that's going to be valuable because it's not always going to be so nice where we can just sketch it out and have it land on nice numbers like that.